Sanvanani, welcome you back to it. It's another scintillating installment of the G.I.R.L Show. Now, if you're joining us for the very first time, G.I.R.L is a beautiful acronym that stands for Guys in Real Life. We are the guys in real life. I'll let everybody tell you their names. I'm Blessing Xaba.
I am Kuda Makore.
I am Munya Mtoko.
Now, we sometimes try to make ourselves a panel of thinkers who come together to talk about issues that are important to people like us and people like you, and invite you into this conversation to gain insight from the things, listen to us debate, listen to us compare thoughts. And today, as we've been doing, we're discussing something very topical, very relevant to the time we're currently living in, and very relevant to people who are brown of skin. Black Lives Matter.
Hashtag
Black Lives Matter, right? It's almost, it's an organization. It's a very orchestrated movement. Started, there is an actual year and mark where this thing began. But it was...
Indulge me.
But I wish maybe we need to do a separate insert where I tell you where I give you the tea, right? So after this, I'm going to give you the tea on what Black Lives Matter is the way it started.
Okay.
Sounds very like a conspiracy.
Welcome back. Now you know what it is. Now you know what it is.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Black Lives Matter has had this constant resurgence on the online space where every couple months an event takes place in America that is usually police brutality on an otherwise innocent black citizen, and we all pick up our phones and suddenly go into black consciousness mode. I mean, in my lifetime alone, Black Lives Matter has gone in and out of importance, quote unquote, like 5 or 6 times. It's almost annual, but sometimes we get a year of like a complete break, right?
But doesn't this time feel a little bit different though?
Like
everything feels different now because it just comes and goes once a year.
Like just get 1 month.
And it's true that this time feels different. It's possible that the reasons for that are because enough is now truly enough, but it's also possible that it's because we're all trapped in our houses and glued to our screens, which is where the movement tends to unfold. So we're all a little bit saturated with content about BLM and have no choice but to participate on some or other level. This resurgence, however, stems directly from George Floyd's incident, where he has the police altercation happening, the policeman has his knee on his neck for no reason and for an indeterminate amount of time that is completely inhumane and passes away. This gets all the fists and placards in the air in America and then starts to ripple out across the world, because the truth is the plight of people of color is a global one.
Right.
The plight of a post-colonial world, a world where raciality is still the undertone of how we receive and operate with one another, is a global reality. But it happens here, and now I live in South Africa, in Durban, where you would think that issues that begin in America would be completely irrelevant. But even I am in a city and in a space and a society that only wags their tongue about Black Lives Matter at this point in time. What do you guys think? Opening thoughts.
I would say that there's always a lot of cultural affinity. So I think when you look at it, if something is happening, whether it's atrocious to black people or whether it's good things, let's talk about sports, right? We know basketball, we watch basketball, we know who Kobe Bryant was, we know Michael Jordan, right? We watch the Tyler Perry movies, we know a little bit about their culture. They entertain us for the most part, or whatever the case is. So it's not just a thing whereby we're now engaging because there's a situation where something that is inhumane has happened to them. Right. We've always had an interest in the things that they do because they, to an extent, are our brothers. So we're not just now participating in this thing just because they need justice or whatever the case is. I think there's a lot of relativeness between us and them. Right.
I think you're very right. I think we've been completely saturated by what happens in the US being passed down to Africa, if I can call it that. And so whatever matters in the United States matters here.
Yes.
To an extent where I was thinking about it last night, and I realized that there's probably more Zimbabweans that know more about US politics than they do about politics back home. So they'll tell you what's happening in Joe Biden's camp, and that he's holed up in a bunker. And
I'm one of those Zimbabweans, by the way.
Yeah. So, but you see, where it becomes a little bit, where the conversation becomes a little bit difficult for me to either not accept, but to trace the how genuine it is that if we're truly affected by police brutality and all those things that are happening in the US, then surely charity begins at home. We must be in a space where we are able to address the issues that are happening in South Africa and the things that are happening in Zimbabwe before we latch on to what's happening in the US. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with with showing solidarity when something happens. It could have happened in the United States, it could have happened in Venezuela. No man deserves to die like that. So it's the
Especially on
especially on
had
camera.
it happened in Venezuela,
it wouldn't have
Would
as
you know?
much. It wouldn't have as much impact and as much attention as it got, because it's the United States, and we've been channeled to believe that everything good, everything right, everything's
Emanates
just
I like what
emanates
you're
from
saying.
there.
I like what you're saying.
So therefore, I don't have anything against Black Lives Matter, the hashtag. I've got nothing against black tiles on your Instagram page, because I had one of the black tiles on my Instagram page.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, there is people. There's an innocent lawyer who was arrested in Zimbabwe right about the same time and was being held by the state against his will because he was supporting the opposition. I didn't see black tiles going out for Tabani move. So it questions the motive behind why we're doing it. And I feel a lot of the times we latch onto it because it's the trend, because it's social media, because it's relevant.
But here's my feeling based on what Kuda is saying, and I want to thank you so much for saying that, because I think though this conversation and what you're saying now, I probably would have never heard it if the situation that happened in the US hadn't happened. But now you're opening, and hopefully we're opening everybody's eyes to it, to say that if we can stand for something that is not even happening on our soil, then we need to actually consider the fact that we need to always stay standing wherever we are.
So you're saying, so you're saying that the positivity is that whatever happened in the US is now opening up our minds. I beg to differ. Do you know why? The reason why I say this is because the George Floyd story is almost going to die. Like the latch of social media, the black tiles are fading away.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn something out of this, then if somebody dies in South Africa, you must be up in arms again. But it's not
Yes.
going to happen. It's not going to happen, Munya, because like let's say
Why wouldn't it?
because it's not the first time that Black Lives Matter is trending.
100%. Plus,
Yeah,
there's
but
no
it's
life.
also not the first time. But it's also not the first time. And actually, it's the first time that I've seen people protesting for like over 2 weeks, and not just only in America, but in Europe as well. Like, and in South Africa as well. I saw people, protesting the Black Lives Matter in South Africa.
Right.
So I feel like before
Yeah,
Black
did you see
Lives
anyone?
Matter.
Yeah, did you see anyone protesting in South Africa about the people that were killed by the South African Defence Force during the lockdown?
No.
Did you see anyone protesting in South Africa when this lady was killed at the hands of her boyfriend? Did you see anyone protesting in South Africa because there was looting of stuff that was supposed to be given to innocent people that don't have food, and that stuff is openly being stolen by government officials and being manipulated? If we can't march and protest for the corruption that happens in our land, then I don't feel that, not that I don't feel that it's justified to say we stand with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. I feel like if we're going to be true activists, Munya, then we have to be able to say, after the whole phase of Black Lives Matter, let's talk about the issues.
But if
how many people have you seen?
But look, if I am not doing it, and you know that we need to do it, and then you quiet the whole time, and then you start to raise this point of view just because the majority of us have woken up because of what we've seen with the Black Lives Matter situation. So if you've been holding on to this information without even saying to people, guys, the National Defense Forces killed somebody, let's do something. You didn't say
No.
and now you're saying
Let me jump in here with some perspective as well, right? Because the thing about Western gaze, which is this concept where we look to America for what is right, all things good, all things bright and beautiful, emanate from America. The idea of that, the Western gaze, if you will, teaches us that is a point to be informed from on how to operate your life.
Yes.
So the whole understanding of learning the alphabet from Sesame Street and then putting all of our entertainment interests in Netflix and things that come out of America trains us to continually consume them as a guidance, no matter what the content is.
Right.
So even the way that Black Lives Matter has positioned protest has changed the way we see what protest is. We try and apply those methods to other protests and it's irrelevant. We can't hashtag about South African issues because we're not an online state. Things work on the internet in America because the whole population is on the internet. You can't cripple South African economics with the internet.
You can't.
Which is why I feel this irrelevance in our involvement in Black Lives Matter comes from, because we're adding into this, Western gaze, right? Great. We're like feeding into these.
Did you?
But when we say this, when you say this, guys, are you saying this as fact? How many people do you think are on the internet in South Africa? Because I feel like for the longest time, wait a second, I'm not asking to attack you, I'm asking to learn.
Right.
I'm asking to learn, all right? Because I'm on the internet, you're on the internet, and all my friends are on the internet. But we constantly keep saying that South Africa is not online.
Yeah, but you see, you have to think about the population of South Africa and how many people are connected to Instagram to see these things. If you go to Marshu today and you ask them if they know about Black Lives Matter and Black Forward, they don't know about that stuff.
Well, the people that I know that I know about it.
Yeah, but you're talking about people in your demographic and people that are as woke as you, right?
Guys, wait. Having the internet is one thing. Living on the internet is a complete other thing.
Because they could
How many American
WhatsApp.
people have email addresses? How many South Africans do? With internet. South Africans with cell phones with 4G and LTE. Without email addresses, because
Everyone that has a smartphone in South Africa has an email address because you cannot set up a smartphone without
Don't talk about the address you put there so that you can have things.
But your question was who has?
No.
Who has?
Who's an email address that they actively use? Not to open Netflix, not to upgrade your.
Now you're fixing the question.
No, I'm not fixing the question. I'm talking about like people need. How many people have borrowed? Do you know how many people have borrowed my credentials so that they could log on to their Netflix?
The question was no. The question was listen, guys don't try to be smart when you have made a mistake. Listen to me. I first told you that I'm asking to learn, not to have a show of conversation. If you're gonna ask a question, be specific with your question.
Yeah.
You can't
But
ask
if you
me.
digress,
It's two different questions.
Then we're going to dwell on the
Who
internet.
has?
Then we're going to dwell on technology and the internet.
I know.
The topic is Black Lives Matter.
But then don't ask the question.
Okay,
Don't say who has versus who uses.
Well, you can ask me a question.
It's two different
Well,
things.
yeah, did you put up a black tie?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I wanted the noise to spread. That's why.
Wait.
No, don't get accusatorial.
Yeah.
That was the answer. That's the truth.
Right.
That's
There
the
it is.
truth. I want the noise to spread.
Because
How much-
the noise in America matters to us globally.
How
more than
much
the
noise do
in
you
our
think
own
that your
neighborhood.
black tile made?
As much as all the people that have a view of what I do on my social, those people actually then started to look into it as well. So that's the
Wait,
interaction
so
and the engagement.
can I ask you a question? Can I ask this one? So wait, the people that, let's say you had 36 likes on your tile, what do you think that tile did to those 36 people?
So philosophical.
What happens on social media?
No, he said that's
what happens on my page. If, say, for example, if you use a tag, it just doesn't stick with my audience. That tag forms part of the whole of the grand scheme of things. So please, instead of you guys trying to attack me,
No, it's not
what you're
attack.
sounding like,
It's
what
not
you're
attack.
sounding like,
I'm
what
trying
you're
to
sounding
understand
like
why.
is you saying Black Lives Matter is rubbish.
No, if you ask me why, because
And
I
Americans
can't.
are, that's what you were saying.
I'm gonna need a gavel.
I'm not
to
saying
keep
black.
the order in the
I'm
state.
not
Is that what you're saying?
No.
Nobody's
I'm
saying
saying
that.
that Black Lives
And don't
Matter
let
as a
guilt,
movement.
don't let guilt building in you make you attack us.
Yes, because now you're
But I'm not saying
Guilt.
who gets to attack
Guilt.
us. Whoa.
Guilt for what? Guilt.
Whoa.
Guilt.
Don't let
Guilt.
points that
Can
that
I-
open
can I-
up.
Guilt. You say guilt.
Make
I'm
you
guilty
act.
of what?
Okay, let's not pick at straws.
Guilt.
Yeah, let's forget the word.
I'm guilty.
No, you're not guilty of anything. The point I'm making is the same. If you put up a black tie, right, I think that you will make enough noise to address the situation that's happening in the United States. I think that Black Lives Matter is very important and relevant in the US. I don't see the relevance of Black Lives Matter in South Africa
True, I
as
agree.
a movement.
I agree.
Because does that make you? Because if you're really,
No, wait, he agrees,
I
and I
agree.
want to change the gear here.
I agree.
I want to step in and change the gear here quickly because, I mean, we can debate the legitimacy of our involvement as non-Americans, right? But I think that a far more productive, far more useful conversation is trying to understand why this issue actually exists in America at all. Do you know what I mean? We can step out of how we've affected the movement, whether or not our involvement was warranted. But what is actually taking place in America? Because I feel that not even Americans are talking about this enough. Black Lives Matter is an explosion that comes from continued lacks of understanding and tolerance between the racial groups in America.
Right.
White monopoly supremacy, white supremacist, left-wing conservacy, like this whole white overlord power
Right.
that seeks to continually shackle the black population and keep them in a position of servitude where their unpaid labor continues to build America.
Right. Now,
So that, for me, it's far more important for us to unpack
but
why
if we
this
do
is
that,
happening.
listen, if we focus on why Black Lives Matter, we're doing exactly what
No,
you're
it's
saying.
a study.
No, if
We're
we do
global
that,
citizens.
then I don't feel that a panel of 3 African men in Durban, South Africa, should be talking about
Who?
the racial injustice there.
Who should then?
The Americans.
I'm afraid the point I was going to end up going to is I don't think they can. I think the main issue that causes constant clashes between black Americans and the rest of America is because black Americans struggle to connect to Africanness itself.
Okay, guys,
And that's what
can I
Africans.
chime in on something? I agree with most of the stuff that you say. It's a movement that's going to help Americans in America, right? The reason why I feel I can't say extremely strongly, but to an extent extremely strongly about Black Lives Matter even in America, right? For me, it's personal, and I didn't want to share this on camera, right? Because it's my personal life.
Right.
My sister lives in America.
Right.
She's been living in America for the past 10 years. I have not seen her for 10 years. I have been wanting to visit the US, but I am a black man.
Right.
My sister has got kids. I have a niece and a nephew. I've never seen them. I only see them on a video call. So the Black Lives Matter in America is something that is close to home for me because my sibling lives there and she's raising children there. And one of those children is my nephew who's a black man. He could grow up any day, take a walk down the street, and could be murdered.
Right.
Do you understand?
So I understand it and I agree with it. Do you know why? Not agree with it, but understand it in a sense where I remember when my sister wanted to post something about Black Lives Matter, right? Her whole story was about how her husband, Tendai, went to play rugby in the States. And she was talking from a personal experience to say, I will stand with this movement because when my husband went to the US in January, I was scared for his life. I told him, don't put on a hoodie because this might be the last time you leave the house. Introduce yourself to your neighbors. You understand? So when she speaks about Black Lives Matter, it's different from me because she had to live a life where every day when Tendai doesn't call for an hour, she's like, maybe he's a big guy who's black, who's in the US. Yes. So she feels it from a personal perspective. And I understand that perspective, Munya, because it's something that's personal to you, right? But
in the same token, I want to come in on that because you guys are speaking about members of your family who have recently immigrated, right? And I want you to understand, 10 years, of course, it's a long time in real life, but I'm talking about in the grander scheme of what it means to be Black American. Right. It's very recent. And the difference between your family members who are in America now is that, let's say, hypothetical situation, Black Lives Matter gets to a crazy boiling point whereby it is unsafe to be black and in America. The core difference between your relatives and Black Americans is that we can repatriate.
Yes, they can come back
because they know where they come from, and that's the link to Africanness that I was talking about. Black Americans, because they have been taken out of their homelands and kept in America for so long,
they don't even know.
Wait a minute. They no longer have an understanding of the root of
I like what you're saying, but I'm sorry, I won't agree to it in
because
as long as it stands right now, the repatriation or whatever the case is, on their way to the store they could be killed. So I don't say about the repatriation or whatever the case is.
But see,
just getting out their door for 10 years they've been there. She's been there for 10 years.
But Munya, she hasn't
any day.
But Munya,
before you, Mr. Repatriate them, she could be killed.
But Munya,
and she's my sister, not your sister.
Yeah, but Munya,
and those 10 years is a short space of time for you because you see your family every day.
Yeah, but Munya, okay? Yeah, but Munya, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this without getting emotional. The fact of the matter is...
How do I not get emotional talking about my sister who's in a state where it's dangerous to be black?
But Munya, the question then begs, I would then ask the question, right? That nobody is, if for you to make a decision to go to the US in the first place, it means that there was some sort of benefit for being there, no?
No, she went there to study. You can't, I don't want to speak about the benefit. I didn't discuss with her what she wanted to do. Right. She's an adult. She wanted to do it, right? I can't say, don't go to the US, whatever. She lives there now. Right. She got married now to an American. And now she's an American citizen. And now the children are Americans. And she has no intention of coming back. I'm not saying that there's a benefit that I financially benefit from.
No, not for me, not for you.
Whatever. Yeah. For her, even if it's for her, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't change the fact that she's my sister.
Yeah.
It doesn't change whether she went there for fun
right.
or she went there for benefit or for whatever reason she's there. She's there.
Right.
That's what matters. End of story.
Do you think that your proximity to the issue makes you less able to look at it critically?
I don't know. Maybe. And I actually do not care how it makes me.
No.
But you must care. You must care how it affects the way you are able to engage the issue because the emotion.
I was. Because then it started sounding, and probably not the way, it started sounding like I'm being rubbish. Like, I'm looking at America because America, oh my God, it's such a superpower country, so whatever America does, we do, we
But
watch.
in the same breath, Munya, you're not the only person that is talking, that supports Black Lives Matter. So it can't be, and when we walked into this conversation, we were not privy to the information that your sister is in the US. So it can't be the fact that
none of it was personal
to you.
And remember when we had the other conversation, is that it kind of hits different and when it hits close to home,
100%.
it always happens. And so for me, that's why. Right. So when we have a conversation, like for example, like if I'm talking about something that I don't know, you take very, very close to your chest. Do you get what I'm saying? When I talk about it, I need to be careful, and I may not know how to be careful, or I may not even know to be careful until I know that, oh, okay, do you get what I'm trying to say? So I feel like that's just what happened in this moment,
right.
Whereby it's a topic that's kind of now sounding, and you can forgive me and you can try to, unscathe it, but the way you were sounding, guys, whether you want to admit it or not, was sounding like you were ridiculing it.
No.
That's how you came across. Listen, I was listening.
And it's valid.
I was listening.
Right.
So you can't ask me to react the way you want me to react based on what you were saying. It's your responsibility to say whatever you were saying, but it's my responsibility to feel and react. But here's the question though, guys. Do you think whatever they're fighting for in the US, right? Do you think they're eventually going to attain it?
Yes, I think they do. I think more importantly with this protest particularly, is that it's moved people to do what they ordinarily didn't do with the other ones. Like you hear the head of NFL coming on to apologize. Yeah.
Well, NFL of all institutions.
After the whole, thinking of that he's the one who was at the forefront. So if you get those institutions now issuing apologies, it means that this sort of protest hit very differently, and I think they're going to see some change with this one particularly.
I want to understand the end goal of Black Lives Matter a little better, because I feel like I understand racial equality is obviously the term we give it, but what is the truth of racial? Because like in South Africa, we keep on saying equality, but equality equals land. Yeah. Is it the same in America? Is it that that Black Americans need to be cut land understandings so that there's a sense of ownership of the country at real estate level?
I think for them it's a little bit of freedom, a little bit of social inclusion. So I know everybody wants to talk about, the ultimate and, years gain or whatever, whether it's property or it's ownership or whatever, right? But, people are, a black person walks into a store and everybody suspects that they're gonna steal something or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying?
And of course, that's what happened in a black store, in a black town, on black land. So it can come back to an understanding that if there was
something.
But
then again, that's segregation. It's their own portion where it's okay. No, this side of land. So giving them a piece of land is still
the theory of
pushing
segregation. Is you now have the power to do that, which means you can speak at Congress with a different voice.
Yeah, but
so
that's
not that you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I can speak differently at congressional level.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm saying, remember the levels, and you're 100% right for that level, but I'm saying, at least the minimal things, like not being racially profiled.
Yeah, like not
but that's
not walking
a psychological thing,
but
right?
not walking into an elevator and then everybody comes out.
Laws can't change psychology. So how many protests is it going to take to change them?
I think what they need, I think they also need stuff like there's schools funded by the value of real estate in its space. And therefore,
but that's always going to happen, don't you think? Like, real estate being, like valued based on the area and whatever. Don't you think that happens everywhere?
Also, the value of this real estate is being measured with the gaze that looks on communities with a very particular perspective on purpose. I just think peace in America comes from acknowledging where each population comes from, where they stand, what is their claim to the space and the land. Because Black Americans are a displaced population, they're in a diaspora that's such an ugly diaspora.
Yeah, that's 100%.
But they can't call any piece of it home or their own. And that causes a confusion of where do you inform your entire life's purpose from when you don't have ancestral ground and you don't have like fields and an agricultural history that's archived on, like we have.
Yeah,
like you can go to a place where your family has lived for hundreds of years.
Just be careful.
That means all black people have to come back to that.
Yeah, but not come back.
But guys, wait a little bit. But don't you think now that we are comparing what we think is the foundation of your growth and your prosperity, like how we spoke about your ancestral land, whatever, I think, don't you think maybe because that's how you were brought up and they're not brought up like
it's because I was brought up African that I understand
right.
inspirational.
Yeah, but they don't.
That's what I'm saying.
They
need to re-Africanize.
I think Munya is right. Munya is right in the sense that the route that you're taking to explain the motive of Black Lives Matter is longer, and people just want an immediate thing. Yeah. So the immediate change that they want is for them to be able to, not be reported as a black man walking down the street when they walk in a primarily white neighborhood. You know what I mean? So they need stuff on the surface. That's what will keep people quiet. They want an apology from the NFL. That's what they want right now. Because it's saving face. Yeah.
I definitely think that those are symptoms of a far greater problem, but
this is true.
But then I can't disagree and say that these are things that should not be available and given to the American population.
I think this is what they rightly deserve, but what they're settling for is everything that's on the surface.
Yeah.
If they understood, I think they understand. I think that what people who don't understand are the people that they're fighting against.
Also, I have a question for you, Les, right? So, who do you think is stopping this from happening?
Themselves.
Who, the black people in America?
100%. There needs to be an organization within, they need to organize themselves, black Americans, and speak with the singular voice from one end or another.
See, that I agree with.
Right? On board. And it's not by getting a black president, because Obama cannot speak for the displaced grander population of America, nor does the party he comes up in order to get into that power. Once they have that singular voice needs to say, this is how to heal us for bringing us across the ocean 400 years ago.
Right.
That's what the singular voice needs to say. It needs to say, Red Indians of America, this is what we understand about you being the homeowners of this land. As a sizable population.
I like that.
This is where, because I know it's an African thing, but it's an African thing.
Yeah, the truth of the
I want you to repeat what you said, bro. What you said about you need to do something for us, considering the fact that you just took us from our land and now we don't know where to go.
And only we can decide.
But you see, so you know what the problem then becomes basically is the fact that the black people do not know how to organize themselves. I mean, somebody said, do you know that if the black folk didn't show up for NFL games, if all the black players said we're not playing, how much of a league would they have? How much of a league would the NBA have if all the black players says we're not playing anymore?
That's why they apologize, bro. And the reason they apologize is because the
guys getting paid.
Besides getting paid.
Michael Jordan would not speak against anything, right? This whole
but
time.
It's also about how many people are getting paid. It's a privilege to stay away from work out of principle because maybe your salary only funds you. But when you think about, I've made it out of a hard community, I'm a sportsman, I'm being worked like a slave, I'm physically in a shape I have not even really chosen.
But those are
and the money I make,
the
money I make is sustaining
everybody
for free at cash level, not the economic flow.
Yeah.
I'm giving cash money to 10
yeah.
households.
Yeah.
So I can't stay away from a game out of principle even when I get it.
But I'm saying,
right.
I
stay away because I think about my commitment to the people that feed me.
I come because of who I'm feeding. I think that there are a million different solutions that can be thought up for this issue and for this population, and none of them will be useful unless there is an implementation strategy that the collective black population of the USA is willing to do.
Yep.
I hope nothing but safety, consciousness, enlightenment across the globe on the issue, particularly to the American population. I'm not an authority on anything African, but I do believe that there is intelligence left for you ancestrally in African understandings of your connection with space, with nature, with energy flow. I'm not talking about crystals and feng shui. I'm talking about healing of wounds. I'm talking about bloodshed that have gone unforgiven and spoken about. I'm taken stock of by the very people who suffer remnants of it every day. It's about more than just throwing things and throwing your toys and being in the streets and blacking things out and bringing countries to a screeching halt. Because once you have the attention and the silence you want from the people who are oppressing you, what do you intend to say? Spend time.
You're asking for an audience with no content.
Basically. I don't know. I don't know. It's very difficult for us to look. It's just something that we see happening. It doesn't affect us really. We can have an opinion. I don't know how these people feel. I don't know if they tried forming a group
and
to do all these things
that
you're
it failed.
about.
Yeah.
Maybe it failed. Maybe that's what the Malcolm X were doing. Maybe that's what the Martin Luthers were trying to do.
Yeah.
So
this is the only round that they left.
So maybe they've tried all the other options. we can only say maybe because of all the information we've received from the sources that
We're
we
not
only
privy
get it
to-
from.
yeah.
We can't even go there in America and be on the ground and see what's happening.
What was
this.
the motive behind Martin Luther's movement? You don't have it. You don't know what it was meant for. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. It's alright.
It doesn't look like you mean it's alright though. What do you really feel it mean?
No, I feel like it's alright, bro. It's alright. Because the world has taught us to stick to our struggles. So stick to your struggle. Don't worry about any other person's struggle. That's the world that we live in. So whoever's going through shit, if I'm not going through it, fuck it, I don't care. Why am I fatigued? And that's the world that we're living in.
100%.
It's cool.
Alrighty.
It's definitely not the tone that we're setting though, and I hope that you're not saying that. Because in no way am I saying complacently, do nothing, look away, care about other things. But it is important that the people who are directly affected understand their part to play.
Yeah.
And us to understand the parts that we're meant to play in our own communities.
Yeah, there has to be
But what I
clear
can say,
division
what
of
I
roles.
can personally say is that I hope I find a way to support the people. I don't know. Maybe I'll say a word that will go somewhere. Or someone coincidentally, I don't know. Maybe it will spark something. Maybe something will change. You know, like and whether it's wrong or it's right, whether it's something I shouldn't do or I should do, whether But if I see you kicking a ball, I'm like, yeah, carry on kicking it. You're gonna be a professional soccer player. I'll say that if I can say it. So if you have to protest because you have to fight for your life or whatever the case is, I'll support you. I won't look away. I'll be like, yeah, maybe coincidentally, maybe you'll see it and it will give you more strength.
Right.
Grim times in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and like you say, all we can do is look from the outside, which means probably understanding that our perspective might not even be that relevant or welcome. Can't wait to hear what you think though, and can't wait to hear what kinds of conversations you're having about Black Lives Matter. What impact do you feel they've made in your communities? What country are you in? What is the stretch of the information where you are? What does BLM mean in your space? Please engage with us. Tell us constructively. Don't be afraid to tell us when you think that we're blowing hot steam. Pick a side, if you will. Engage us though on the topic. And I mean, we can't wait to hear back from you. We
Of course, your feedback is very, very important for us. Munya, will you drop the handles for people who want to follow us?
On Instagram, it's at G.I.R.L Show _SA. And on Twitter as well.
And on Facebook as well. We cannot wait for the next show. God bless.